Hello.
Well, how are you?
Good, thanks. Back to reality in a day.
You back home?
Yeah, well, getting there. I'm a little nomadic with my family. I dumped the rest of my travelers and stopped by to see my sister,
I see.
who gives me just this Wells Fargo crypto for dummies sheet. It says understanding cryptocurrency special report, and you got to go in and look at this. It's pretty interesting.
Can you send me a copy?
Yes, I thought I'd Slack one around.
Sure. That thing with Wells Fargo, stopping consumer lending. I mean, that's like, what? That's cray-cray.
If
I don't know if the canary in the coal mine or what, but it's really, and Buffett sold not all of his banks, but like 60% of his bank holdings last fall. And I don't know exactly why. I just know that he sold all of Goldman Sachs. I've talked about that on TikTok quite a bit. I don't know. Maybe they're getting ready for Armageddon, or they're out of capital. I don't know. What does the report say about crypto? Then in broad strokes.
6 pages of for dummies. It's what are they, where did they come from? What are the risks? What are the benefits? What is the security? I love this one right here. It says it's accessible to everyone interested. This is called a decentralized system. Wait a minute. It really outlines it with cute little pictures and everything for knowing that we're switching over and they're trying to prepare their customers. That's my that's my take. Talks about the volatility of it, the high potential for fraud.
Did this happen to you guys like last year around this time, or even before when COVID first hit? We have these gas station convenience store things that are like taken over 3 or 4 states called sheets. And we went in like, hey, Jack. And like a week after COVID start, they put up these signs and says, hey, Jenny. And they said, we don't have any coins. And I'm like, really? Like your business is down 80% and you don't have any coins? Like wouldn't it work the other way? Like if your business went up 80%, you'd have to send somebody to the bank to get more coins. But
no. I was still working for the bank at the time, and they were asking the individual employees to bring in their coins. It was so bizarre. And then it just muted, just stopped.
We don't like conspiracy theories. We love them. Yeah, that's my little inside joke. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We're missing Landon. Let me text him, see if I can poke him. Oops. Let me try that again. Can you join us? My teapot's going to go off in a second. It's going to be real loud. It's just a teapot. I have to start off by saying I think the Ethereum login thing is absolutely fucking huge. I can't even, and I'm not like a big tech guy, but like I understand that concept that the internet has been taken over by basically the FANG stocks, and specifically Facebook and Google. Let me go make my tea. I'll be right back. But oops, hold on. Sorry. I don't know that I could make a bigger argument for Ethereum than that. And I heard Vitalik talk. Lau, you'll like this. I heard Vitalik talk about this at the beginning of the year. I think he was interviewed by Bankless. I think it was like the first interview. It was like the what's going to happen in 2021 with Ethereum. And he talked about I think Landon's coming. I'm sorry to walk around like that. That's sort of rude. But he made the comment, two things. He made the comment that Ethereum is like Facebook, only there's not a company over here, and then there's the user generated content over here. It's like the same thing. Like, and to me, that like that made a lot of sense. You know, Facebook makes money off of all of our, you know, grandkid pictures and cat videos and all the shit we load into there, and then they use all that to, you know, to generate data and make money and advertising and so forth. And Ethereum is like that's built in. But the other thing he talked about was this idea of multiple signatures required to reset a password. So imagine, like, I mean, we're probably going to do this. So like when Landon gets on here, imagine if like my Ethereum password went down to run Bruno, I'd have to contact all of you, and all of you would have to hear me and somehow recognize that it's me, like a proof of life thing. And then all of you would reset the password. I mean, it's genius. Because listen to this story. I was being audited by the SEC. I'm not making this up. I went through it fine. I didn't have any problem. But like, you know, you get this email and you get this paper, and this was for Crowd America, which was registered with the SEC, the federal SEC. So it's just like an IRS audit, right? It's mainly just a pain in the ass. But at one point they wanted to see my emails, and somehow when I was trying to log on, this is over like 2 or 3 weeks, and like every other day, you have to spend 2 hours with them, and they ask all these questions and on and on. So in the process of trying to get my email open to them, I somehow locked up my Google email. So I couldn't get into my email, and like I had to inform the SEC. I'm like, I can't reset my password with Google. And they're like, and it clearly looked like it was a rug pull, right? Like I didn't done this on purpose. And I said, I'm not making this up. I'm just a dumbass and locked up my. So it was like email, like all this shit that I had to go through. So I finally got a real person at Google to like reset it. And I was like, and like in capital letters, I was like pleading with them. I was like, I'm being audited by the SEC. Please reset my fucking password. Anyways, so the Ethereum login like hits that right on the head. Like if you look at that thing I posted yesterday, Vitalik points that out. The other thing is the fact that Vitalik is proposing this, everybody's going to like instantly do it. Like all the you know, people that like me who think he's a rock star, I'm going to do it just because he said so. You know what I mean? So I think that's pretty. You know, I think it's the kind of thing where you go like, where, you know, how will the world look in 3 years? And the control of the FANG stocks over the internet is up in question. I think it has big implications for the stock market too, because the stock market's been driven by 5 stocks for the last 18 months. So that's why I opened my Irish breakfast. I want to sort of tee it up by saying thank you to Jenny. This idea of this Discord operation as a business model, like, oh my God, this is really a big deal. I mean, it's going to change everything, because as Landon said to me one morning, he's like, I don't think of Dow Squared anymore purely in financial terms. He said, I think of it more like as a software play. And I was on the phone with him. I was like, yeah, I think that's what I'm doing wrong. Is I'm like, I just keep trying to beat this dead horse and try to say like, look, this could be as big as like a mutual fund company. And people are like, well, it doesn't exist. It's like trying to explain Ethereum to my mom, you know, like she's just not going to get it, right? Or trying to explain the internet to somebody like before it exists. Then once they log on and send a couple emails around and search for something, they sort of intuitively get it. But by inviting people in to like be part of this sort of like a movement, that's, I think, how we're going to sell the story. And then like the financial and technological implications of it will sort of follow along. So, hey, Jenny.
Yes.
Do you want to sort of tell us what you're doing? Because I think you're sort of like starting to be the lead writer here.
What part of what I'm doing?
Well, the stuff we talked about 2 days ago, or maybe you don't want to talk about it yet. You want to talk about like Crypto Salon and 514 and things like that?
Well, sure. Like one idea that I've had in the past was just hosting a bunch of women, because in my career I've always encountered just like a little bit of a glass ceiling maybe, and a little bit of gatekeeping, and I don't want women to have fear of learning or not to feel like blockchain crypto is just too complicated to understand and unattainable, so they're just going to let it go and let everybody else handle it, and they'll be ancillary to the project. But so I wanted to just get together like a bunch of women that I know, and they kind of just, everybody just keeps asking me for help, and just start hosting, well, a Friday night salon. And I'm just gonna do, like a dozen women here, and just kind of like roundtable ideas and real world applications and how they see it fitting into their life, and kind of just inspire, that the participation, and that the feeling that they, yeah, okay, oh, I get it, and the light bulb, and to move in those directions. So I actually had a really great meeting yesterday with a woman who I've known for a little bit, and she's so excited. And I sat her down finally, and I said, okay, we spent about 3 hours and kind of went over it all. And she is so excited about all of this. She totally sees it. She gets it. So I think this is it. It's going to be really big and exciting. And I think if we're able to really communicate the potential to people and hammer out our script of, how we describe things, I think it'll be really clear and concise, and easy to, run with for folks. And so she wants to do, all of this, and I've got other people who want to do the 541, OR 541, and CA 707, and yeah, so it was super positive. Everybody I've talked to so far, it's good.
So I think it's fairly well known in the Silicon Valley that it's the culture of the Silicon Valley is extremely misogynist.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just leave that there. But no, I think I'm not afraid to say that men and women look at things differently. But I actually think that the reason I keep banging the table about Camille Russo and that Stephanie Kelton woman who wrote The Deficit Myth is because I think when you look at what's happening in the economy and the digitization and the sort of this exponential kind of change, you can sort of look at that with like your male goggles on of like, oh, this is technology, right? But there's also like a more feminine approach where these tremendous cultural things are happening at the same time. I actually am more interested in the cultural things than I am like getting down in the weeds about technology. But so like that Ethereum login thing, that's what like touches my raw nerve, is like, holy fuck, like we're all going to get on the internet with our Ethereum password. And like, we're going to look into the internet through like Ethereum eyes in like a couple of years. I mean, we're going to do it. I'm going to do it as soon as possible, as soon as it becomes, a legit way. I mean, it'll become part of the Bruno program. is, you know, I think of the financial system much the same way. You have these big players from BlackRock to Schwab, and the plumbing exists, so you have to go along with that, right? Like you can't even stop with your 401k and say like, well, I want to get off this horse. I want to do something else. No, you can't. For example, it's almost impossible to own real estate in your retirement plan, which is so bizarre because most middle class, upper middle class people are just trying to make 6%. But somehow the system has like removed that from your retirement plan. Anyways,
How best do we start channeling the communication of the concepts
okay, so
in a brand specific way?
great question, Lyle. I think what we do is I keep doing my edgy meme shit on TikTok, and then my big open house. I'll just admit that back in the day when I was a broker, I used to have to travel a lot and go see people and so forth. I spent a lot of time in the car, and I would spend a lot of time listening to Rush Limbaugh. Politics aside, you know, the guy woke up every morning and 20 million people listened to him. Think of that. I mean, that's like incredible. But his show was 12 to 3, and you could tell he had it like well planned out. And I think that's what I'm going to turn my Sunday afternoon into. It's going to be like 12 to 3, and it's going to have like a schedule. So people can even like, you know, check in for the first 10 minutes and then come back at 2:30 whenever we talk about the Ethereum login, and Jack gives us a deep dive on that or something. So it'll be much more regimented. And then we're going to make it like really hard for them to not click that button and pay $100 a month to us. And you know, we'll have these things, and instead of posting these on YouTube, which by the way, nobody's looking at these things on YouTube. There's like 3 views, which is fine. I don't really like YouTube. I for a number of reasons. I mean, all these platforms, this is another part of the Ethereum login. You know, if it's really decentralized, all this deplatforming of people because they say something about COVID or Trump or something, and they just pop them off. People with like hundreds of thousands of followers, and they're just gone. I mean, it's so like unbelievably un-Western, you know, like we're supposed to live in this like egalitarian, like liberal society, and people just get pinched off for like, I don't know. Anyways, that's my little diatribe. Landon, can you give us like what you know about Discord and how we structure this and et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, if I mean, anybody familiar with Slack, it's very, very similar. It's organized by channels, and there's the ability to have like group calls and voice channels, you know, like rooms people can hop in and out of. And that's really how all the content's organized at the end of the day. So like tutorial, you could have a channel that's exchange tutorials telling people how to get into Uniswap and get the token. I mean, that's really the cool part about it, is sky's the limit. You know, whatever we want to make is a branch of the community just gets thrown in another channel. And that's where the content of everything will go. Because I mean, right now, James, it's really you that are the content. You know, yeah. Everything is orbiting around your TikTok. So,
like Rush Limbaugh, what it'll really end is when that's no longer the case, right? When like Jenny has 13,000 followers in her woman's DAO, and those people are all like, seriously, Jenny, think about it. You could do your Friday night thing, and people on the channel can like post into that and like ask questions, just like I do.
Do it for me. But yes, I get the concept. I'll just have one of the other ladies do it for me. Yeah.
No, you're ideal. I mean, for a number of reasons. I mean, just the fact that we found each other on TikTok, it shows that like we just, you know, just think about all this stuff in a similar vein. What else?
Well, on the note of the Discord, so because I use Discord in some some other daily stuff. Would we be looking at having kind of multiple tiers, such
Yeah.
as in order to filter out non-interested parties or trolls and such, it's like, all right, you're invested in Dow Squared. That then gives you access into the Discord to, give you that channel to discuss that
Well,
specific DAO.
We're also gonna have to pay. It's by member only. So it's $100 a month, which I'm gonna say, like, people, if you want to recover your $1,200 a month or a year, just get on Uniswap and buy ETH FLI. Like, you're gonna make $1,200 like in 2 years, because you're gonna, quintuple your money in 6 months. Do you guys know what that is? I've
No.
talked about it. On Uniswap, there's a pool that's Ethereum and Ethereum 2x. So therefore it's 1.5, it's a little bit of 50% leverage, which is actually, like right now, is the Ethereum probably just bottomed. I mean, that's a tremendous investment. And it's not terribly, like, being 2 or 3x something is terrifying, because if you have a down day, you lose like 2/3 of your portfolio. Anyways, but exactly, Lyle, they're gonna have to come through the gate of paying $100. And I'm gonna announce on Sunday that the first 1,000 participants also get 1,000 Dow Squared. I think that's a great trade-off. So what I'm really doing, instead of having people send Jack and ETH, we're gonna finance it for them. They're gonna get the 1,000 shares, 1,000 tokens, and also get in the channel. And then, Lyle, to answer your question, just like Jenny just described her like Friday night crypto salon thing, I think I'm gonna go down and go, like, I talked to my son about this. I think I'm gonna go hardcore with the farm DAO. Like, I have a big project that I have had in the back of my mind for like years. And even if I don't execute on it, just the discussion of it will explain like the kinds of shit that a DAO will do. Namely, to build a big facility in northeastern Pennsylvania for small ruminants. And Professor Shamian is like the perfect person to do this. She's traveled the world, New Zealand, China, the United States. She's known, like, she's like the sheep and goat person in North America. I know that's sort of like to the broader world, like, who the fuck cares about sheep and goats? But it's just like a small segment of ag that's, has its place. But it's a great project because it really brings out like the social capital element of things. And I told that story, I think, on last Sunday about going to this livestock auction and being like attacked by a 250-pound goat, and then like a steer like chased down my dad. I mean, if somebody was there with a YouTube, like made a YouTube of it, it would have like gone viral, because it's just such a fucking disaster the way these animals are treated. It's just wrong. But anyways, it's America. Hey, Travis, tell us what you know about the couple things that I've asked you to look into. Namely, we need to post on Coinbase, I always say Coinbase, CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko. And then we talked about doing a Uniswap grant thing for like $100,000 so that Jack has money to pay Garda.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna grab the map thing because I want to talk about it, but start talking, I can hear you.
sure. So basically, I sent applications to CoinMarketCap, Messari, and CoinGecko, and I've only heard back from CoinMarketCap at this point, and they just sent a couple things. Some of them were technical, but went over it with Jack a bit, and he says pretty much all those things are covered. So I think they're more just saying like, hey, you got to be like a little bit more established before you can get thrown up on the exchange. And I don't know if CoinGecko is going to feel that way. We'll have to wait till we get the application back. Same with Messari. But like just like little things like the website being done, and like have a couple more, like, I don't know if it's someone writing about us or something, but we just need like a little bit more like established presence, I think, in order to like have something behind us a little bit. I don't know. It seems kind of like annoying, but it is something, I don't know, that helps legitimize you. Just get that kind of vibe. As for the Uniswap grant, I'm still working on that right now. And kind of to run off what Lyle was saying about like, what is the uniform consensus of the project? In filling out the grant, I did have a bit of struggle with it just because the project scope can be so broad. I don't know if there's any way we can kind of just like I don't know, like lay it all out there. Cause I know you've talked about it in all your TikToks, but if we had like, I don't know, just like a really concise way to like lay out everything. And I know that that's supposed to be the point of the white paper, but like, I almost feel like it could be fleshed out a bit more at points.
Hey, Travis, I've got a question. Have you looked at the Kyla's DAO? Now we're down, getting down or whatever that Jim was talking about on his TikTok like a week ago?
Kyla's DAO?
Her page describing the DAO.
I don't think I have. I'll have to check that out.
Take a look at that, because I think that is very clear about the DAO mechanisms. And I think that it might
Okay, cool. I'll check that out. Kyla's DAO.
I've read on DAOs, and that's what she's absolutely brilliant. I mean, she takes on these big issues like all this Fed reverse repo shit. I don't even understand it. And she like makes a joke out of it. But that little piece she did, both the video, the TikTok video she did talking about DAOs, that was like 2 Fridays ago or something like that. And then that paper, she perfectly laid out. And I pointed out, you can actually see it like in her body language. Like, oh my, she's like, oh my God, this is going to be huge. I mean, it sounds like me. You know, again, I hate to repeat myself, but like, we're going to be like understanding DAOs and like Ethereum logins all like over the next 18 months. People's fucking heads are going to explode when they like this thing about like Ethereum is going to be the settlement layer for a new financial system. That's like next week. That's not like 5 years out. That's like happening right now. But anyways, Travis, back to, I would focus on her piece and listen to how clear she identifies what a DAO is and sort of where they come from and so forth. But what I would emphasize when you're doing Uniswap, you were correct whenever you said, for the most part, those kind of grants go out to people who are improving their technology or their flow or and so forth. So we're coming at this in a completely different thing. But what we're doing that's so big, and I think they'll get this, 360 DAOs trading on Uniswap that can all transact billions of dollars. OMG. I mean, it could like grow Uniswap's platform by, which is already as big as Coinbase.
Right. And then to do like the social capital thing, I think is going to be a huge sell for them.
Exactly. That's what I was getting to. Just focus on DAOs and social capital and how we're gonna try to popularize this so that one day people wake up and like on our website is an interactive map like this, and they click on Idaho, and then they look at all the DAOs that are in Idaho, and then like the woman's DAO, and then it just becomes this interactive thing that they keep going, oh my God, there's like all these things to invest in.
Totally. I like where your head's at with the map.
That initial light bulb, it's just a snowball effect of the comprehension of the possibility. And that's what I've seen with everyone I've talked to.
Right.
And I just emailed out the link to everyone, the group.
Oh, perfect. Cheers.
For that.
Yeah, thank you.
So Landon, I don't know, I sent out, well, everybody can look at it. I think it's called Map Me. So it turns out, back when and you can see this logo, Crowd America, back in the day, what I wanted to do was something that was like Zillow. You know how you get on Zillow and you can like open the map or close the map, or you can just like, you're going to look in Atlanta, you can just explode Atlanta. And if you want to go to Cummings, Georgia, you can just like, and see the, the 100 homes for sale in North Atlanta or whatever. That was the idea of having this, because I think mentally the financial system has just sort of indoctrinated everybody that this is what you invest in because it's there. Like they're not even stopping to say, I mean, I beat this to death on TikTok. like if everything's overvalued and like wacko crazy valuation, like why the fuck are we still doing it? Well, because there's nowhere else to go. But when we make something like this, it shows the scale. By the way, there's another map like this, if you've never seen it, on eig.org for the opportunity zones. You won't believe it. Like 20% of the map is in an opportunity zone. And you don't really get the joke of how big it is until you see the map. And then you're like, oh my God. So in conclusion, Travis, as you think about this Uniswap opportunity, by the way, they have like $4 billion. Like they don't even know what the fuck to do with it. I mean, unless we fall on our sword, we should be able to get that.
Cool.
Now, Tezos did not accept our application. I never heard back from Gnosis. Just real quick, Jack, Gnosis was invented to deal with the fact that launching a new token on Uniswap is a little clunky, and they do some sort of batch trading. But while I'm on the subject, I'll just suggest, why don't we just drop the minimum price on Uniswap to like 50 cents? And I'll announce that on Sunday and say, like, look, people, we have 72,000 shares available, like, and the floor of the price is 50 cents. Anybody interested? I'm gonna guess that probably 2% of the people that listen to me on Sunday have the inclination to go make an account with Uniswap. Jack, you could do us a huge favor, including myself, to make that video that shows like, here's how you get on. Because
how to connect a MetaMask wallet to Uniswap.
Yeah, and this is the kind of stuff, you're effectively like holding up the teaser of saying like, hey, this is the new brave new world of all things crypto. And then what we're really saying is, why don't you pay us $100 a month, and then we'll do like a deeper and deeper and deeper dive on all the things that are available. We want people to have that, like, I want to be in the club, I want to be in the VIP room kind of a thing. I also think the meetups will be, I don't think that, thousands of people would show up to them, but I think the idea that we're making ourselves available, if like 3 of us showed up in Denver at the fucking hotel airport, lounge and like hung out there, and a couple of people show up, just the fact that we're making ourselves available, like, yeah, this is who we are. We're not going to rug pull you. There's no reason to rug pull, because like there's like an unlimited amount of money to make here. There's no reason to like steal people's stuff. But no, I think, Travis, if you can keep pushing the envelope on those things, as Landon gets some stuff, it's sort of like everybody's now like has their own thing to do, and like, like we're ready to take the field. One of the things that I always remembered as a young guy growing up, I was a quarterback in 9th freshman football. We had a night before a game, somebody raised their hand and asked the coach, said, how are we gonna get the plays into the huddle? And the coach just looked at him and said, Jimmy's calling the plays, which was me. And I was like, what? And what it did is like the whole team like all looked at each other, and we had this sensation of, and it was the coach was old. He was like 65, 70 years old. And I know he staged it. And it was so brilliant, because we got this sense of like, fuck, we're like, this is us tomorrow. We beat the shit out of everybody. Anyways, it was a great year. But I think we're all going to get that sensation like right now. Like a little bit of movement by Landon means a little bit more movement by Travis, means a little bit more by Jack, and blah, blah, blah. And also, guys, get the joke of like 1,000 people paying $100 a month. Like, it's pretty good cash flow, isn't it? So everybody can think of like what they really want out of this little club here. Like who wants a job, who wants to be part-time, who just wants a big chunk of equity, whatever. In this late this summer, early fall, I hope to meet you all in person. But I think this is going to happen. I really do. And just repeat myself, like, I mean, if nothing else, like we could be the people that be like, hey, have you thought about what the fucking Ethereum login really means? Like, let us introduce you to that, because there's a whole new internet opening up, and we'll show you how that all works. And we have our specialists. We have Jack, we have Travis, we have this one, we have the security guy, blah, blah, blah. We have all these people you can access. And like Jenny always implies, some people will just be there for their own personal enlightenment. Other people will be thinking about their own businesses. And they'll be like, where do I go get this information, right? Just like whenever in the 90s, like everybody had to get a fucking website built, and like nobody knew how to build websites, and people paid $50,000 for like 2-page websites and stuff. You know, I think we're going to go through another process like that. Also, Jack, why don't you, can we get everybody a wallet and send everybody 1,000 down squared?
Yeah, I would say for everyone, just download a MetaMask wallet and send me the address, and we will get that going. No
I
problem.
just, you know, it's about $2,000. I think everybody here has done at least $2,000 worth of service to the effort. So, and you know, I want to get you all to have that sensation of like we're going on the field tomorrow. You know, so
Thank you.
what else?
And, is the Discord already set up and ready to go for Sunday?
Ask Landon.
Sorry, I thought I was unmuted. It will be.
Cool.
I'm trying to invite everybody
on Discord
today.
if it like tracks like the joining of the Discord, like can we line up what he's doing in his live with the pull through rate on the Discord? So if there's specific topics that he's hitting, if that's like generating a bigger pull through.
Yeah,
Is
definitely.
that something that tracks?
I think, I mean, we're still, there's no free members in the Discord, right, James?
No.
Okay, yeah. So we'll be able to see exactly when people come in and you know where they're coming from, at least. I mean, I imagine the only source would be TikTok at this point.
Cool.
And it's just what we think, right? You get on, you plug in a credit card number, and it lights it up, and it automatically charges it monthly.
Yep, just like you got a subscription to Spotify or something.
So Landon, you and I talked about doing a pricing where we like front load and say like if they pay, let's say $1,000, you know, for the year instead of. My inclination actually is not to do that. And I'll take feedback from everybody on this. A lot of what I try to do, both in my business, you know, investment advisory and other things, is like try to uncomplicate the finance, because like everything in our life is like some sort of scam and cash back and like miles and double miles and just like nothing. You know, America is the place that invented, like, you walk in to buy a pair of blue jeans and there's only one price. Almost in every other country, you either have to negotiate or haggle, or this person gets a better price than the other person because they're more important or whatever. Like America invented this idea that like everybody pays the same thing. So I could be talked out of that, but I just, this simplicity of $100, like think about it, like Apple charges me $2.99 for like, I don't even know what the fuck it is, but like every time I see that, I'm like, I wonder how many like marketing people came like to the effort to land on $2.99. Like, why not $9.99 or why not like $1.99? Like, what's so magic about $2.99? Anyways, but anyways, the $100 thing is, I think, where we should just leave it because it's so simple. And it also implies that we don't need money, because we're not going to need money if like 300 people sign up for our club for membership. I mean, we're going to cash flow like in an incredible way. Not to mention, I think it'll, you know, as people learn more and we introduce them to things like Uniswap, they're going to get on there and they're going to start buying the token, and then Jack's just going to drip out, you know, more shares of the token. By the way, today at noon, I talked to Matt Kaufman, So all of our legal framework will be moving forward. And I have a lot to tell them, the Dow Squared is on Uniswap. We're creating this membership effort. The other thing about this membership thing, and then sorry, somebody's asking me about IRA Financial. Boy, I wish they'd change the name of that. What a stupid name.
Yeah, hey, I thought maybe you'd want to finish that thought. So I just sent another link. Let's see who joins.
Okay.
Probably set a precedent. I don't know. Feels like sometimes we need to go a little bit longer these days.
Yeah. We have a lot right now. We have a lot to talk about.
And it might not be viewed by anybody from the outside, but it helps us.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Mel, while I have you,
Yes.
let's you and I chat for a minute. What I was about to say is this membership thing actually gives me a little bit of wiggle room, because as an investment advisor, like, well, how are you people are going to say like, well, how does this work? Are you delivering investment advice? No, we're like a club. So it gives me like a lot of room to talk about a lot of different things, because the fact that all these people are paying for this thing, it means it's not necessarily an investment advisory relationship. It's sort of like the difference between if you're buying research or you're delivering advice. I mean, it's almost the same thing, right? And hey, buy this stock, buy that stock. But hey, Jenny. But Mel, we haven't talked a lot about this, but we talked in our first conversation about this digital Edward Jones thing. And I don't know where you are in terms of like, whether you want a full-time 40-hour job, or you want part-time, or you just want to be in the club and some equity or whatever. But like, we could recruit like 1,000 people to be advisors, to be investment advisor representatives. And it's really not that hard to get people through the Series 65 and get them an insurance license and pay them an 80% payout, and have them, emphasize that all the other investment advisors out there are going to tell everybody to buy the fucking Bitcoin ETF and put 1% of their assets in Bitcoin because they don't know what the fuck else to say. Right. And we're going to be the people like, the internet grew at 63% in the 90s, and crypto is growing at 160%, and nothing has ever grown this fast. And this is where all the innovation is. And oh, by the way, the millennials and Generation Z are going to completely abandon Facebook and Google. Like, it's the Ethereum login thing, like, to me, just is like they just split the atom. I mean, it's just going to like explode the whole discourse about like what's possible. No one's even going to fucking talk about Bitcoin anymore. I mean, it's not even, like all summer, like I've been all through TikTok and through Twitter and Anthony Popliano, and, I make fun of him and Bitcoin Pete's and all this. The scalability of Ethereum is just going to completely blow everybody, all the other altcoins and Cardano and Bitcoin, just completely blow them all out of the water. And, thank God I bought The Infinite Machine last May, because, once I read that book, I was like, oh my God, this is like just going to change everything. But anyways, Mel, if you're interested, I joked with you the first time we talked that you're going to be like a den mom. But if you're interested in that, and like we make this program for people to get licensed, and let me just tell you a little bit how that works. For all insurance activity happens at the state level. So think about that. That's sort of hard to have a business that sells insurance in every state. The good news is we have a field marketing organization called Simplicity, and they would be like ecstatic to hear that we're doing this, and then we're going to run all our business through them, right? I mean, and we get a full 100% payout. All these young people in their 20s and 30s that worked for Northwestern and shit like that. They get a 35% payout. We're going to offer them an 80% payout. That's what like the biggest producers in the country get. On the investment advisory side, to start, we're going to have to go state by state by state, but eventually we can also register with the SEC. You have to have $100 million under management in order to register with the SEC. But the other good news is Interactive Brokers made a compliance company called Greenwich Compliance. You can take a peek at that if you want. And they onboard every investment advisor representative onto your platform for $250.
Okay.
So imagine if we, you know, hey, all you 30-year-olds working for Northwestern not making any fucking money, you're really more interested not just in playing golf and discussing mutual funds and life insurance policies with people. You really want to be on this brave new thing and get a really high payout. Why don't you come join us in Atlanta and we'll like introduce you to like how you go through this process and start working with Bruno. And, you know, it could be huge. I mean, literally like Edward Jones, $2.2 trillion out of those silly little offices in little towns. Speaking of silly little offices and silly towns, I'm going to open an office in my silly little town for just that purpose, so that we can like take a video of it. And we'll probably, my stepson doesn't even know this, but he's on vacation. When he comes back, I'm going to be like, Dennis, you're going to work for me. We've talked about it a little bit and he's just on the edge. But so I'll light up Ligonier Capital, which everybody knows in town is me. But then within like a couple of months, we're just going to literally take the sign down and we're just going to put up a big black Bruno sign. And that's going to be our Edward Jones. And we're going to say to people like, you know, Mel, what's the little town you live in Idaho?
Sandpoint.
Yeah, or, you know, Jenny's in like a medium-sized city, like, hey, go find, you know, some strip mall somewhere beside the sushi restaurant and the AT&T store that has like this little thing, this little place that you can get for like $1,000 a month. And we'll send you all the paraphernalia and collateral and we'll get you licensed. And like when the people show up at the AT&T store, they're going to go, oh, isn't that crypto shit? You know, that's like right there. I should go see that guy. I actually had that idea at one point. I thought about like these AT&T stores and Verizon stores that are everywhere. And you walk into them and they're like real unassuming. Like you sit at like they're almost like a coffee shop, right? And there's some 27-year-old that understands iPhones better than you. There's no reason why you just don't get online and like buy a fucking iPhone, but everybody goes into these little stores. Why? Because most of us don't know how to like transition one phone to another. So there's a 27-year-old in there with like a polo shirt on that like does it for you, right? That relates to like what's going on in crypto. Sometimes you just need somebody to stand there and go like, no, just put your thumb right there. Okay, no, enter your password. Okay, bye, see you next month. You know, you just need that little bit of human hand-holding just to make you feel easier about the technology. You know, my dad would never buy an iPhone like online and like get the box and open it himself. He wouldn't even be able to open the box. I wouldn't either. But anyways, Mel, offline, you and I can talk about that. That is I'll throw one more thing in there as part of that. I started to, but never really finished the project. Go ahead, you're fine. With Regis, which is this, what do they call it? I always forget how to describe it. It's like a membership for like a timeshare of an office. So I went to Jupiter, Florida to check out an office. Beautiful place. It's perfect. You know, you could meet a client there and like you go into a nice conference room and there's you can make coffee and it looks like an office, right? Well, the other thing I realized when I did all that is I would have like a corporate entity that means all of their properties across the country are available. So we could like recruit people and say like, oh, you want to meet people in downtown Chicago? You can use our Regis contract. Oh my God. I mean, that's like a business model right there that like blows your head off. Because there's one thing to have like hang a shingle and have like a little office and sit in at 9 to 5 and it actually brings people in. But it's also nice, like if you're Jack in Atlanta and you got to go meet a client in Cummings, from the bottom of Atlanta to the top of Atlanta is like an hour, right? It's like it's a huge city. And, somebody like Jack can be like, oh no, we'll meet at the Cummings, Georgia Regis facility in the conference room at 2:00. And like, they have it all lit up for you. And it's, very modern looking and very fresh. And there's a receptionist, and magically Jack now has an office in Cummings, Georgia. It's really pretty neat. It's like a digital strategy that like also touches the real world. So anyways, that's pretty much all I got. Anybody got anything else?
Not offhand.
Why don't you, Mel, why don't you throw this one up on YouTube as well? I'm courting a large investor in town, and I think these two, I think this morning's Zoom meeting probably is a better due diligence on what Bruno is doing than probably anything else we've done. So in 30 minutes, and this is somebody who can write, a 6-figure check whenever they want. So anything else? All right, guys.
Not for
Think we're
today.
all good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. See you guys.